Bring back the priest kings. Been saying this for a few years. We all know that kingship, or queenship, depending on whether you've got a king or a queen ruling over you, they should be there looking over the people, looking after the people. Well, they do look over us, don't they? But looking after the people. But they are there originally being put in place as representatives for us of the divine source. It's the divine source working through the monarchy. In the old Pharaoh times, the Pharaoh represented God on earth. And in the ancient Israel times, their kings were supposed to help represent the righteousness, Zadok. And with this righteousness, this Zadok, also came a well-being, I suppose, of this nation. You know, they're bringing life and vitality to everybody. The king in ancient times was seen as the supreme ruler. He was seen as the supreme judge, Zephot, to whom one may go in any matter or dispute for a final ruling or judgment. And those of you that have read your Old Testament know that Solomon or King David would be sitting in the temple, or in the hall, I suppose it would more have been, rather than the Holy of Holies, and people would bring their problems to him for him to judicate over. And as God is the giver of life in the cosmic sense, the king would be the giver of life in the material, the worldly sense. And this is one of the Psalms from the Old Testament. O God, give thy justice to the king, and thy righteousness to the king's son. May he judge thy people with righteousness, and thy humble ones with justice. Through righteousness let the mountains and hills bring welfare and peace to the people. May he grant justice to the humble among the people. May he secure the children of the poor and crush the oppressor. May he also continue as long as the sun, and like the moon through all generations. May he descend like rain upon the crop, like showers that water the earth. May righteousness flourish in his days, and welfare and peace abound till the moon be no more. So this psalm is reminding us and the king what his duties are, how he has to deliver righteousness to one and all, judge the people with righteousness, use justice. And I'm pretty sure this would be divine justice. Through righteousness, he's got to let the mountains and hills bring welfare to the people, or peace to the people, so the land is there for everybody to use, and he must make sure that's protected. He's granting justice to all and everyone, protecting the children, crushing the oppressor, which gives him a lot of responsibility, of course. But if the king or the monarch is ruling rightly, then the nation will live rightly. And that psalm also goes on to say, may he also rule from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. May the creatures of the wild bow down before him, and his enemies lick the dust. And it reminds me of something from the Hammurabi. And, many people think of this as, the Anunnaki story continuing. So I'm going to read from some of that. At that time, Anu and Enlil called me by name to promote the welfare of the people. Me, Hammurabi, the worshipful, God-fearing prince, to display justice in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evil, to stay the strong from oppressing the weak, to rise like the sun upon the black-headed people, and to shed light over the land. When Marduk sent me to give the people justice, to bring order to the land, I established right and justice within the land, promoting the welfare of the people. To stay the strong from oppressing the weak, to give justice to the orphan and the widow. In Babylon, the city whose head Anu and Enlil raised on high. In Ensiglia, the temple whose foundations are as firm as heaven and earth. To enact judgment for the land, to effect decrees for the land, to give justice to the oppressed. I inscribed my precious words on my stele, or your stele, and set them up in the presence of my image, King of Justice. And this is what our rulers and monarchs should be thinking about first in their reign. They should be looking after the people and the land. They must be having this, as I was saying earlier, this act of justice, but at the same time an act of righteousness, using their conscience, not so they can rule as a tyranny. They're doing it because they are the representatives of the divine on earth. And going back to an Old Testament psalm, for he will deliver the needy when he crieth, and the humble when he hath no helper. He will have pity upon the weak and needy. Yea, the lives of the needy will he save. He will protect their life from oppression and violence, and their blood will be precious in his eyes. And of course our blood, all people's blood, is precious. It's our life force. So this is why we should be living in peace and harmony rather than all these wars going on, because that is bloodshed, which is against God, against righteousness, against justice. It is demonic, all this bloodshed. In some ways we can see these psalms as kind of pleas to remind the kings of what it is they're supposed to be doing, what is expected of them, that they're ruling in a righteous way and being just in their governing of the land. And all this would then be reflected in a way in how everybody is living in that nation that they're ruling over. Abundant harvests will come in if the king is ruling well, as it says in this continuing psalm. So may he live and be given of the gold of Sheba. Though in some translations it says, so may he flourish and be given of the gold of Sheba. So may one pray for him continually and bless him all the day long. May there be a wealth of corn in the land to the top of the mountains. May the fruit thereof be as plenteous as Lebanon. May they flower on the summit like the grass of the earth. May his name endure forever. May his name continue as long as the sun. May all the families of the earth bless themselves by him. May all nations call him happy. We want a happy priest king to rule over this world, but I'm not saying we want a one world religion or world order, but if kings and queens took on their roles in this kind of way, which I'm sure their conscience is what they want to do and how they're trying to be, but just difficult times and chaos seem to get in the way. Really, if the king or queen is being prosperous, the nation will also reflect that prosperity and be prosperous as well. A king or a queen should be guaranteeing, I suppose, that through their rulership they will bring justice to all, they will protect the land, they will have concern for everybody that's upon their land. But at the same time they must remember they are representatives of the divine, and they are also dependent upon the divine. We've got to remember that the divine is the enduring power. It's not us that have, we can have the enduring power if we turn towards the divine. But through the divine comes the righteousness. The king or queen is normally installed into their office by an anointing rite, and that anointing rite is, in a way, giving them the sacred commission to do this work, to be, well, in a way, they're a messenger for the divine. They are supposed to be channeling the divine spirit through them and working with that so that it can be then going on out into the land. And I just wanted to read a bit from the Old Testament. Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of Yahweh burst upon David from that day forward. So in a way, our royalty should be being a messenger. Angel is another word for messenger, but is the messenger from the divine. They have a special bond with the divine, and we have a special bond with our rulers. Which would be nice to know that our rulers do have a connection with the divine, wouldn't it? And that they take this responsibility seriously, that they're kingship is a righteous kingship, and it's like they have a covenant with the divine, and they must fulfill that covenant as the divine will fulfill that covenant back to them. It's a two-way process. And then we have this psalm: Oracle of David, the son of Jesse, an oracle of the man who was raised on high, the Messiah of the God of Jacob, and the hero of Israel's psalms. The Spirit of Yahweh speaketh through me, and his utterance is upon my tongue. The God of Israel hath said, to me the Rock of Israel hath spoken. A ruler of men must be righteous, ruling in the fear of God. I must admit, I do not like the idea of the fear of God. It's me just cutting into this. We should be living in the love of God and with love for God. And I was just continuing, like the light of morning at sunrise, a cloudless morning, which marketh the grass glisten from the earth after rain. Nay, but is not that how my house stands with God, since he have granted me an everlasting covenant, set forth in detail with proper safeguard? Yea, doth he not bring to growth my complete salvation in every wish? Whereas evil must be like thistles, all running wild, for these are not removed by hand, but the man who cometh into touch with them must be complete with iron and spear shaft, and they must be burned with fire on the spot. We have to burn the dark forces out of us, not be tempted by their temptations. We must live in light. Let the divine light shine through us, and this is what our royalty should be doing as well. But there are many prayers and songs asking for the divine to remember, especially in the Old Testament, obviously, because these were songs about David, for God to remember David and help him with his responsibilities. O Yahweh, remember for David all his humility, how he swore to Yahweh, how he vowed to the mighty one of Jacob. I will not enter the tent which is my dwelling, nor ascend the couch which is my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to mine eyelids, until I find a place for Yahweh, a dwelling for the mighty one of Jacob. Lo, we heard of it in Ephrath. We found it in the woodland. Let us enter his dwelling. Let us worship at his footstool. Rise up now, O Yahweh, to thy home, thy and thy powerful ark. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy votaries rejoice. For the sake of David thy servant, turn not back the face of thy Messiah. We've got to remember that David danced for his God, for the divine source, and we too can dance and sing to the divine.